And they started the show off, and thank God for this. MJF is the smartest man in wrestling because he always, I think he goes to, well, I was about to say, I think he goes to production meeting. They don't have him. I think he hides behind equipment cases and listens to what stupid is going to be done in the course of a show. It either goes on first, second, or maybe sometimes third to get the out of there and not to get any on him and to still have a crowd that will watch normal, logical, common sense wrestling and react to it instead of having seen 47 different attempted mayhems and vehicular homicides. And in this one, he went on first. If I would have MJF, I would have asked to be on the pre-show on this one. Him and Hangnail Page. But can you deny, Brian Last, that it's awfully odd that whenever MJF was going to have a classic match with somebody like Punk or Danielson, and they weren't going to literally try to behead and disembowel people on the undercard, he went on last because that was the money match. But now that they've taken their company into the Outlaw Mud Show gutter and negated much of MJF's appeal with their shoddy booking, he gets on first or second and gets the fuck out of there after having what makes a match that makes more sense than anything else you're going to see on the show. Am I lying?
I don't know if you're lying, but I think he's always gone on early in the show with, a few exceptions like the Punk thing. But, think of him and Darby. That opened the show. That match I loved a few years ago.
Yeah, but what else was on that fucking show? Why he wanted to get in and get it over with?
Yeah, I mean, they always had nonsense, but even if there was no garbage on the show, I still think it's probably a smart move. And in terms of AEW, I think MJF, again, when he's not in the title match picture or in a big feud, he's kind of like the perfect guy to start out with because he does good stuff and he does enough and nothing goes too far. And it ends up being a great match. Now, I don't know about Adam Page's haircut. I feel like MJF got saddled with Cody coming out with that tattoo. He got saddled with he won the title and then Punk beat up the Bucks. And now he got saddled. He has to wrestle Adam Page. He comes out with it wasn't a perm, but it was a very pretty little haircut.
I couldn't even come up with a cogent simile on what that haircut was about. But here's the thing. So it's Page and Hangnail. And again, MJF is the best in the company probably at putting smart matches together where shit gets a reaction and it makes sense in the context of what you're looking at. And MJF is also the smartest guy at working like a heel so you understand who the heel is and giving the babyface by proxy or process of elimination or whatever a little more oomph himself because the people are wanting him to foil the heel spots or to give the heel a taste of his own medicine, whatever. So you got that going for you. Hangnail, as we know, is a blood drinker. Or was he the drinky or the drinker? Who drank who there? Him and Swerve, they're blood brothers.
He drank Swerve's blood, and I thought about that when he spit in MJF's face. I'm like, oh, anything with this guy and fucking bodily fluids is kind of disgusting.
Well, but the point being, they probably come from opposite ends of the spectrum, and I was worried that MJF would be trying to do too much of this moron's caca to placate him. But then when I saw the finish and I realized why it was seemed like an MJF match for most of it. I don't know about that power bomb on the knee because in this case, he power bombed Page's back on his knee, but Page's head went down on the mat and his legs jackknifed up over the top of it. I'm not worried about Page. I'm just hoping that MJF doesn't do it to anybody else. That would be a hard sell for me anyway, because you're not going across something that you can absorb with the brunt of your upper back. You're like getting power bombed on a balance beam, and there's too much margin for error where you could go sideways, or in this case, over the top or whatever. And Paige at one point fired up after MJF hit the ropes and ran and hit Paige in the face with his dick. So that was an interesting spot. I love MJF's hammerlock DDT. That thing ought to be a fucking finish. It looks better than most people's shit, anything else that anybody does. So, of course, it's a 2 count. And, you know, they went back and forth. And this, again, this was an okay MJF match and a really good, maybe the best ever Adam Page match because they mostly made sense. They went back and forth on false finishes where Page is trying to get the buckshot. He hit it one time, the buckshot or buck snort or whatever. He hit it one time. MJF got his foot on the ropes. He kept going for it, but MJF would stagger or roll away. And then finally, MJF foiled it into an arm bar and held it for a while. And then they were on the floor for a while. And then, for no apparent reason, they're fighting on the floor, but Page turns around and gets up on the rail like he's going to moonsault the guy off the railing around the ring while the guy's standing on the floor. It just seemed odd that he would, I'm going to do a backflip now, except that MJF caught him because that was the next spot. And he gave him a tombstone pile driver on the folding chair that was sitting at ringside. And that was different and it looked great. And they bent the chair. And the doctor's checking Page. And then Page rolls back in. And this was going to start what would be an epidemic of the night of shit that looked okay in some cases and definitely looked dangerous in all cases and would kill any normal human being in all cases. And then they just jump back up and do more shit.
Yeah, Page was on the floor until like 8.5 dead. And then all of a sudden at 8.5, he woke up and then at 9, he jumped in.
Yes. And then there's MJF is crying. And why you and not me? I was asking the same thing. Well, you know, why am I having to watch this? No, that's the thing where, yes, I understand he's working the deal where he's mad and offended that the fans started cheering for him. I would be too, cheering for this putz instead of me. But he just tombstone pile drove the fucking guy on a goddamn folding chair that's sitting on a concrete floor, and the guy beats the count, and now they continue the match. And Page picks him up and gives him a dead eye, and then a face buster, and then hits him with the buckshot. 1, 2, 3. And I was like, what the fuck? He just tombstoned him on a chair on the floor, and the next 3 moves that happened, Page just got up and fucking beat him. And but I'll tell you, it was 20 minutes, but it didn't seem nearly as long as the rest of these things would because some of them were longer also, but I couldn't understand the finish. Why? I mean, obviously they said, okay, MJF, everybody else has tried to get this sorry sack of shit over. It's your turn. Do a job for him. However, he was, you know, instructed, required, or contractually obligated to put this fucking prick over. But how the fuck did MJF think it was a good idea to do a devastating move to him just before he got up and kicked his ass right in the middle, 1, 2, 3? Or did they make him do a devastating move to the guy so he could get up and kick his ass 1, 2, 3? Help me.
I don't know how I'm supposed to help you. I don't have any answers. I think the tombstone on the chair looked incredible. Do you think it's wasted if it's either?
Yes.
Okay.
Either I think it was completely wasted. Because either, my God, MJF is the weakest sumbitch on the planet, Page is indestructible, or more probably, all this shit's phony and it doesn't hurt anybody. And that's the fucking goddamn attitude that most people get when they see horse shit like this. And the people who are in the audience who are of AEW, who are the dedicated 500,000 people or whatever that are going to fucking watch the TV show, or 100,000 that are going to buy the pay-per-view here. They know that some of it hurts, but they're like awestruck that these fucking phony motherfuckers will goddamn work together to put on a show where they try to break each other's necks for their benefit. Most people don't think that way. But
and hopefully we're done with MJF and Page. It seemed like the match ended and now both guys can move on and we'll see what they do. I don't want to see Adam Page and Swerve ever again. I don't really need to see Adam Page and the Bucks camp again. I don't know what they're going to do with Adam Page.
What are they going to do with MJF?
I don't know. I don't know what there is to do with MJF right now.
What is there to do, Brian?
I don't know. Unless we transition to a sponsor spot or whatever it is that's happening right now. I don't know what's going on. Well, Jim, as we take this short break in the action, I think it's been hard to ignore. MJF suddenly has a lot more facial hair, a mustache to go with his beard and his chin. And of course, Adam Page always has something going on, and now he has a girly haircut. But let's talk really about the facial hair. You need the right razor. You need the right support to make sure that you make all the right decisions when you take that razor to your face. Help me out, Jim. We're talking about our friend at Harry's.
You're making me want to take a razor to my throat.
No!
Well, you can take one of the Harry's razors to your throat, your neck. You can rub it around on your jugular, and it's not going to do serious damage because, ladies and gentlemen, these things are designed for custom shaving and ease and comfort and smoothness and closeness and all of the slickness that you would imagine from folks like Harry's. And of course, that's harrys.com, HARRYS.com. Don't think it's Harry's, HAIRYS, because that would just be silly because of the pun that would be going on with the situation. But folks, if you're Harry, then Harry's has something for you right now. A $13 trial set for just $3. You wonder why. You say, why, JC? Why? Is it so important that we get a trial set so you can understand the quality of the products that you can potentially receive on an ongoing basis in the future from Harry's? Because they've got, first of all, the razor, the incredibly ergonomically designed weighted handle that's so easy to hold in your hand, with the treaded grips on the handle that make it easy not to drop it and, potentially swallow it and choke yourself, or potentially on the way down, it might slice some element of your dick off or something. That's only if you're naked in the bathroom, but most people are. It's one of the rooms in the house where most people are naked. But never, Brian, are you usually naked in the bathroom, at least from the waist down?
Well, I mean, the shower's in the bathroom. Maybe in there to take a shower.
It polls show that you're naked a lot of time in the bathroom, but nevertheless, while you're naked, you got this incredible ergonomically designed razor handle. You've got the 5-blade cartridge with the razors that are sharper than a serpent's tooth, German engineered blades made in their own factory. And you get foaming shave gel to smear all over your face so that you can glide that incredible, scientifically, ergonomically perfect razor across your face and eliminate all that facial hair. And you get a travel cover, $3. And that way, you can see that you like these products, and then the customizable delivery options with refills as low as $2 are available on your own schedule and your own time. You don't have to go to the store and have the guy pry this anti-burglary device off with a crowbar or whatever, or set alarm bells off when you're trying to leave the grocery store. It comes to you right in the mail, and it's a no-risk trial. You can cancel at any time, convenient subscription options, highest customer satisfaction in the shaving industry. If they can make you look good And you, meaning the royal you out there, you know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you. They can make you look good. You know they're good. So normally the trial set $13, but right, it's $3. So what the fuck? It's 75 cents a week. You can shave on this thing unless you're a werewolf for quite some time. Harrys.com/JCE. Brian, have you recently trimmed around your head and knuckle area?
I will tell you, I have made some adjustments recently and I have to make a few more. And I'm very lucky that I have Harry's here in the house ready to go because I'm going to need it and I'm going to use it. I need a friend like Harry from Harry.
Well, and Harry ain't going to let you down. I'll tell you, ever since he's been coming over here to shave me, every Tuesday afternoon at 3:30. He comes, and that's why I mentioned being naked, because he's always wanting us to be naked when we go to the bathroom for the shave.
Well, Jim, I could tell you someone who could use Harry. One more time, what's that promo code?
JCE.